stream name?
Okay. And switching to this one. All right. So, Diakou, you want to open it?
Yeah, I got it. All right, guys. Welcome to the very first Brawlhalla R&D podcast. Research and development, baby. We out for this, right?
Yep.
Anyways.
I thought it was Remmy and Diakou. What the heck?
It's both. It's literally both.
Oh, you guys are insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He was like name it DNR, and I was like, nah, I got this. I already know what to name it. And then I said R&D, and he was like, it's both. It works.
Remmy, turn me up a bit, by the way.
Yeah, I got you. All right. So.
All right. Okay. Well, we will get going honestly from the start. Hopefully everyone's here. Hopefully everyone will bear with us with the first time. We're just gonna be messing around. We're just gonna be talking. That's all we're going to be doing, talking.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's interesting enough. But with that being said, we're just gonna get straight into it. The first thing we are going to talk about today is modding in the Brawlhalla community. And by modding, I mean both casual modding, competitive modding, and specifically changing the game files to either some sort of benefit in terms of competitive or just for like aesthetics, visuals, quality of life, whatever it means. With that being said, this is sparked up because of the original mod that happened recently, which is a jump color mod.
Yeah.
And in this jump color mod, what it essentially does is that it color codes the jumps. So jump 1 is green, jump 2 is orange, jump 3 is red, and it's considered like competitively unfair, but at the same time it doesn't necessarily change too much because all it does is color code what is already in the game to make it easier to see.
So do either of you
yeah.
two use it? Like, I don't use it because I was just like, I don't even like, I don't know. It's like, to me, it's literally like setting up yourself to be in a disadvantage when you have to play without it because you're just forced to play without it. Why even use it online? But
yeah,
that's just one of the ways
I
look at it.
So
I don't even give a fuck about online. So
yeah,
it's like,
that's where it gets interesting though, because we're in a time where we are literally forced to be online for a very, very long time, and that's why the entire thing got sparked up because certain pros didn't want to use it because they're always thinking about the fact that if we use it, we're gonna not have it on land. Maybe that's gonna mess us up, stuff like that. But lately, we can't go to lands. We won't have a land for a while. It's debatable if B6 even will happen. Not gonna make any mention of that.
Saying that,
but
man. I'd be so fucking sad.
I'm just being cautiously pessimistic, optimistic. I don't know. So because of this, the certain pros just said, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's just take whatever advantage we can get.
The original pro was, I'm pretty sure, Boomy. Boomy was the first one to. I mean, okay. So
No, Boomy did a retaliation.
Stingray and Pierre and that group on their side, they've been doing it for a while, editing the colors of their jumps and stuff. I don't think they were really doing it like in a competitive way, because if you've ever watched their streams, it's really pixelated. Like, it looks like a Mario kind of jump effect, just so it looks cool, right? But Boomy was like, okay, it's an actual thing that you could use, so I'm gonna color my regular jumps, and I'm gonna actually be able to use it in competitive stuff. You have purple GCs, blue dashes, everything is just like so vibrant, so you can actually pay attention to it. Something that I noticed that everyone brings up is that if you see the purple GC, it comes out like instantly, and the move hasn't even started up yet, so you can react to a move from the purple GC rather than the actual move. And that's kind of like, I can see Noel's like head like looking at that. It's like kind of shaky whether that's fair or not. Yeah.
I think they should just do something with the game to where like they implement things where it's easier to see when someone's doing something, instead of having people like mod it. Because like I don't think it should be legal for tournaments, but you can't stop it. Like there's no way you can actually ban it.
Right. So that's where the other side comes. That's where I come in, and I'm like, okay, yes, is it unfair? Maybe, maybe not. It's an advantage to some people. To other people, they don't want to use it because they might not be able to use it. But then it comes to the point where all it does is already mess with what's there. So there is a cloud when you jump. There is animations when you dash, and there is. I don't think there's an indicator to when you gravity cancel. That one's iffy.
There's a circle. It's just coloring the circle now.
It's like, okay.
There's no way you're gonna like notice it as hard as you notice the purple.
Wait, what
one.
do you mean there's a circle?
When you start your GC, there's a cloud under you. Like the cloud comes under you. It's just using the same cloud.
Yeah, right. So it's stuff like that I've never noticed.
It's when you do the attack though, right? Like you're saying with the mod, you can almost see it before the attack.
Yeah, you can see it as soon as the cloud starts. The cloud starts up a bit before the attack, so you should already be able to, but it's way easier with the purple.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I said, they should just make it like easier to see these things, because it's not as easy to see it.
That's a lot of people's like thoughts on it, where it's like this is what Diakou initially said when it came up. It was like, these are things this should be in the game. You should be able to tell these things, and all the mod is doing is making it easier for you to tell. But I don't know. It's just like,
so it fills this need that obviously it's not good enough. That's what it says. That's essentially what it said. It says that the current game in the visuals and how it visualizes certain things is just not good enough. If it was, then why would there be a need? Yes, to a certain point, you should be able to. There's some skill element to it that, like, you should be able to notice and keep attention and have the attention span or something. Sure, but that's not this case. Sometimes you genuinely just cannot see, even if you're a good player, and that's very problematic in my opinion. That the visuals are struggling with player intent and player skill itself. Personally, I don't think I'd be that bothered by not having it out of land if I use it right now. I am currently using it. But that's just me. Other people might get affected more. I don't think it's that big of a deal really to use it now and then not use it later. I really don't, unless you're like really focusing on the colors super hard.
And at that point, that's kind of, I feel like that's just strange, having no focus on the color.
I'll get to that point. Like at first, if I use it for like maybe a week or two, like it's fine.
You'll
and
actually
then, like, let's say 3 weeks from now there's a LAN and I've been using it for 3 weeks, I would be fine, completely fine. But if I use it for like months on end, and then my brain starts to like react off of the colors, that's where like it'll be really bad for me.
Right.
And I think that's what would happen to me if I used it for a very long time.
Okay. Okay, and then I want to bring up that at what point does it become, okay, I just changed the color of my jumps to, okay, this is actually unfair. Like, because another thing that's like, just like, oh, this is already in the game, is your character gets grayed out when you have no jumps. What if it was just like flat out red? Like, what if it was just so obvious you had no jumps? and then it keeps going to like, what if there's literally a timer on whether someone has a dodge or not? You know, like at what point are you cheating? And it's not just like, oh, I modded my game anymore. Now I'm literally just like borderline hacking. Because a joke Boomy made was that I should see if I can get them to literally like have a timer on whether someone will have a dodge or not, whether their dodge is up based on just like the ticking, you know.
Yeah. That would require you to read off of the game, though. You could do some sort of Java. You could use some sort of Java extension or hook to like make that happen. The moment like they dodge, the hue of the dodge color comes out, it tells the program to now start ticking. And all of this could be outside of the game. I know it's possible, because other games like all you'd be doing is just using colors to figure out when something's going off. So you don't actually interfere with the game. It's possible. Yeah. The thing is, it's hard to say when it becomes cheating, when it doesn't become cheating, because it's all cheating from the start. If we're like looking at it objectively, because you're just changing what the base game is, and other people don't have access unless they go and search for it outside of the game. That is why it's essentially cheating, because it's not like you can just go to like Steam forums and like get it into your game without doing much hard work.
Is it cheating now if it's not against the rules? Like
okay, yeah, that's a different point. It's not cheating if it's not addressed as cheating.
It's pretty scummy, but it's not cheating.
Yeah, no, like, okay, yeah,
literally cheating, right?
Yeah, right. Like unless someone says it's cheating from a higher up or an organization or whatever, then at that point, it's
kind of like the rule where you can just jump off the stage within 10 seconds if you're lagging. You know what I'm saying?
Let's not delve into that. We're gonna go so deep when we do.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's a good topic for later, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all in all, I was thinking like, there's also other things you can do with this. Like, you can essentially, there probably is a way to mod on hitboxes on a weapon. So, like, if you have bow in your hand, it just changes the skin so that hitboxes extend from it. Like, what you do is that you'd find the hitboxes where it is and mod on the hitboxes so that when you're standing here, you'll be able to see the hitboxes, the lines, and then when you move forward, the lines move forward with it. So at all times you see the exact distances of your moves, and you can color code them. Yellow bow downlight, right? And now you have visual understanding of exactly where the hitbox is. For practice purposes, that's amazing. It allows you to really get it into your head where like distances are. But at that point, like where do you go with like the mods? Like that's just OD. And the problem here is that BMG cannot fix one thing and then not remove the casual modding scene. I don't think they can, and that's where people are upset. I know that the casual modding community is really upset about this because it kind of forces BMG's hand in a certain way. BMG eventually will have to respond to this depending on how much more traction it gets.
Yeah.
But I don't see BMG spending the time to differentiate between color-coded jumps and people changing signature colors.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I have it pulled up right now. I'm just going through them. Stream can see a bunch of different mods that literally do nothing besides change a map or change a signature in their art and have nothing to do with how you play the game, right? And that's really what people are trying to avoid, getting rid of that, because at that point, you're just getting rid of something that's like in every community. Every community has their casual modding, and to really like try to destroy that is, I'd say, worse for the game than helping it. So it's important to try to differentiate, but is BMG really going to put in the utilities to, and should they be? Is it worth the time right now?
Right. I'd imagine it's kind of complex as well to like manage to differentiate between it. So what's going to happen is there's going to come a point where BMG is like, all right, you know what? It's time. No more like messing with the game files. No more editing, blah, blah, blah. And it's going to be... See, another problem is that I actually use blurry maps when I play Brawlhalla because it hurts my eyes to play Brawlhalla for too long with the background maps, because there's just something wrong with my eyes to the point where like I can't focus on a character well enough if the background's there for a long period of time. At a LAN, I wouldn't have this problem because it's not that long. Like all I'm doing is playing 2-3 days, and then it's not 8 hours in a row of practice or whatever. It's just that tournament. But at home, when I'm practicing every single day for longer periods, it really helps having blurry maps for me, especially for my eyes to focus better. So that it would remove that straight up, unless you like add and then BMG would have to add quality of life options themselves at that point, and it's like, yeah, the modding thing goes deep at this point. A lot of things that people want or really rely on might be removed because of it. Some things that are just aesthetics purposes.
Yeah.
People editing like funny, like really amazing mods, like the Rivals of Aether mod. That thing is incredible.
Yeah. And
like it was incredibly made.
And then something else that always comes up when you talk about this is a lot of the mods should just like already be in the game, right? Like another thing that came up was, okay, a mod, let's remove the kill feed, because if I'm playing the game, why do I need to see the kill feed? I know I just killed that person, you know, I'm playing the game. Right. In twos, it literally gets in the way, you know, it literally just like blocks gameplay at the top of the screen for no reason. It's annoying. You should be able to just take that out, right? So why can I not mod it to take it out? First of all, it should be an option. It should be in the game that I can turn it off.
Kill feed.
Yeah. Not like just stuff like kill feed, maybe blurry backgrounds too. I saw a Trophius mention that it should just be a feature, but I don't know.
See, everyone's brains blocks out the kill feed until the camera thing happens where you're playing 2v2, you're at the bottom, someone's at the top, you kill someone, now you can't see anymore.
Yeah, like the game is just gone.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. And it's more jarring in twos than it was 1v1. It's mostly a camera issue, where the camera just pans in a certain way and then you're stuck there. And even if I don't think it's possible to like really fix the camera to fully remove the issue. You'll still be able to see the kill feed in some scenarios, even if they fixed the camera problems. So that's its own thing. There's also like debate about other mods, like damage mod came up for a while, which was made by BFCE. The damage mod was actually done really well. It was like I said, it was a Java extension, so it looks at the color and it layers it on top of the game. Now it's a bit problematic because it like kind of freezes you out of alt tabbing and stuff, which is why not too many people started using it, because once you use it, you're stuck into Brawlhalla. You have to like alt tabbing and all that stuff is really problematic with that type of mod layered on top of it. But damage mod, like, I can't.
Yeah, I mean
I hate.
Having even mod for that one is kind of weird too. Like Noel said, I remember when he streamed, he would always have it on. He would like and.
Yeah, there was a period of time I would have it on.
It's really helpful because you just get to the point where it's like, okay, I know, like it should just be clear to you when you need to do a combo. Like after like 120 on hammer, you should always be going for Russian Mafia, stuff like that. But I'm never gonna know when I'm at 120 because I can't see the damage. I'm seeing a color that's really just like not clear to me at all.
You know what? I didn't want to go into this, but let's put it on blast for a bit, because I don't like the arguments that have been made in the past, and it's outdated. I'm not going to speak about how for
talking about
anymore.
For colors,
but like yes, for damage mods, damage mod, or just damage, like adding damage numbers into the game. BMG specifically said they didn't want damage numbers into the game back. I'm talking 4 years ago, because of because people were focusing too much on the damage numbers. People were focusing too much on like hits and stuff like that. They said it was making people focus on aspects of the game that is not playing the game itself. It's casual. They were saying casual.
How do you think they test something like that though? Like, how do you?
You don't. That's an assumption. That's the problem. It was an assumption. They felt that people were focusing too much on damage numbers or like getting hit and stuff like that. But here's the problem I have. Is it fair for me to squint my eyes in the top right corner to see a color just to figure out the damage number in my head later? Like, are we? Like,
like you're trying to say that it removes you from the game, but so does having to look at the top right and then guess what the damage is based on a color instead of looking at a number. If I look up, I look at a number, I look back down, right? I know what the number is. Or just have it
somewhere, or like give options somewhere else, or like add it at the bottom. They said they didn't want to add it at the bottom, aka like Smash does. Not because they don't want to be like Smash, but because what ends up happening is, oh, people are looking at the damage numbers too much. They care too much about the numbers. I get the argument that there might be a case for that, but it's even worse to have to squint my eyes for the colors, dude.
It's not even like, we're not even asking them to move where the damage is. Just make it something you can understand besides white to red. Like, what? There's just too much. There's too many specifics. There's no reason. there's no reason to not have it at this point.
I don't know if anyone's noticed, but if you look on the top right when your character is orange, but sometimes you'll hit the person and they'll flash yellow. Like, it literally looks orange. Like the little health bar will look orange, and you'll hit them,
and the person will still be yellow.
So like, it's just, I don't know.
Dude, even that, I don't want to. I've heard that it works fine for colorblind people. I'm not sure if it works for every type. Oh, my bad. I'm not sure if it works for every type of colorblindness, but apparently certain colorblind types struggle a lot with seeing the different colors. I mean, it's just like, what are you doing with colorblind people at least? And let's not even think about that. BMG contradicts themselves because it's so impossible to discern between white and like pale white and like Vladimir Dracula white that they write numbers in training mode.
Yeah.
In training mode, we have numbers because it's impossible to say, oh yeah, I want the damage to be white, yellow, green, whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
is it like it just doesn't make sense.
White?
Yeah, white, but not too much white. And then, like, when you press next, it's like a little bit more white.
Like, if you have damage values, like if you throw a weapon that's like 1 to 3 damage, so why am I like being forced to like guess what shade of cream the weapon throw just did to him? Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It's just I just can't. I genuinely believe these are one of the points where BMG are just wrong, flat out wrong. And unless they like get a better argument, I generally think they should relook at it and then just get it changed or have an option for it. This is not like, I don't think it's an argument, man. I really don't.
I just don't think it's possible to make an argument.
No. I'm sorry, Remy, go ahead.
I just don't think it's possible to make an argument for it. It's just like, you have to like pick so hard to make an argument for this, and it's going to target like such a specific group of people.
You really got to dig deep.
You have to.
Dude, like, I've never heard anyone say they don't want damage numbers or some type of, you know, different way.
Or argue against it. No, man, I like my colors.
Seriously. No, I actually haven't talked to anyone that would like that. And I've talked to a bunch of people about it too.
I'm terrified of numbers, man.
It's crazy.
It reminds me of math at school.
Yeah, it's just like not there. I don't know.
Like, yeah, I don't know, dude. So
a bunch of these mods though, they should definitely be already in the game though. I think that's what Remy was pointing to earlier. I agree.
I think wall touches need to be like,
oh my god,
need to be better. And yes, there are certain interaction with wall touches that are actually bad. And you know what's funny about wall touches, by the way? It's actually, it's so rude to say it's lazy. I don't want to say it's lazy from BMG's part, but it has to do with when they make the maps, they don't try harder to like align the visual aspects of it with the actual walls. On certain maps, the hurtbox or hitbox of the wall does not align with the visual whatsoever. And they could fix the visual if they spent more time like really getting the pixel perfect on it, right? But they don't do that. And the newer maps are the best examples of this. The newer the maps get, the worse
the worse the walls.
Wall touches. Yeah.
Have you seen,
dude?
Have you seen the thing on Mammoth where like for no reason the other wall is just like a bit longer? For what?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. When
you know how I figured that out?
It was when they were using the mod of the red lines on the map, right? Like Noel had it on his stream too, and the side of Mammoth on the left side is just longer by like half an inch for no reason.
Yeah, so I actually commissioned that mod. Expired was the one that originally made it, but then he never made it public or anything, I'm pretty sure. And then I asked Tiffany if she could actually help me out and like make it, and she like spent a lot of time doing it. She figured out so many weird things. She was like, dude, these walls make no sense. Like, I'm trying my best to like get the lines set up, but these walls just they're really awkward on how they're set up. So she really struggled with like getting the lines set up, but she did at the end of the day. And when she did, honestly, I was using it for a while, and I got way better at touching the walls. So when I removed it, I actually got a lot better in general to like understand where the wall touches are in Brawlhalla on a lot of the different maps. because it's really, really jarring how different it is from the visual.
Yeah.
And that's like aside from wall touch bugs itself, because there actually are a few wall touch bugs.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna get into that. That's not what I'm getting into here.
Yeah.
So,
unless there's anything else before we want to move into topic 2, Wilson real quick asked if we ever actually look at the top right for the damage of. I think you have to, like, you do it all the time. There's no way.
All the time.
Yeah. You literally I look at it every single time. Like, I have like a break in neutral just to see what are my options. I get
what he's saying though. The only time I really like have to actually move my eyes and look at it is when I'm not hitting my opponent. Like, it's been a while since we hit each other.
Yeah.
Then I might have to look at it. But every time I hit my opponent, I keep a mental note of like what health he's at.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, or she, I keep a mental note of what health they're at, and that way I don't have to look top right.
Yeah.
And like I feel like it's more accurate if you keep the mental note of like, okay, hit him this. My Sair hit him this far with sword. So next time, I know where they're gonna move or be after I hit them. You know what I mean?
No, that's what I mean. Obviously, I think majority of players do that. They do the mental note thing where like they see the number one, like, or not number, they see the color one time and then they're like, from there on every hit, because we know roughly how much that something does at this point, right? Mm-hmm. And then every hit we're just like, okay, yeah, we know they're getting more and more pockets of damage, but then there comes times with certain weapons we need specific damage. That sword down at their recovery, really important to know exactly what shade, and it's hard. I'm be real honest, there's still been times where I mess it up, because if it's like at 135, 150, like the middle numbers, the colors aren't like perfectly swapped over yet, so you might like hit them with 1 damage and it changes the hue, and when that happens and then you add like 16 damage to it, you go way too fast, the color swaps way too fast, so you might actually miss the window or something. And in 2v2, you straight up just have to look at it all the time. Like, like straight up. Because right. And 2v2 is just different. If we're looking at 1v1 specifically, it's its own thing. But, like, free-for-all, man. Like, really? Like, I mean, let's take it more casual. Right. Free-for-all. How are you have to look at the color often. You need to know if you're going to use a signature. I mean, actually, their mix-up is, do I signature or do I not signature? But yeah, like, it's just, I'm just tired of squinting my eyes, man.
The next thing on hand, of course, is gonna be crossovers and the Ben 10 crossover that came out yesterday, but I just widened it to crossovers in general because why not?
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right, real quick, what are Heat Blast's guns, bro? Like, what is that? What the heck?
His hands are just literally on fire, and like
it's so jarring though.
I don't want to play against that. I honestly don't want to play against that. Dude.
Right. The worst part is like the gunshots. Like, there's like gunshots coming out of his hands.
Yeah, no, that's the first thing.
That shit is cool. Like,
that's
good.
No, it's dope.
Go ahead, Remmy.
That's the first thing I noticed when I like got on to play. I was like, his hands are on fire, but it's still just the regular Brawlhalla guns animations. So it just looks so like, it looks like, oh, his hands are on fire, but he's just shooting bullets still. Like, are you just make it so he's like actually shooting the fire? That'd be amazing.
Or like at that point, like if you're really gonna do something like that, you gotta like, I don't know, because it's visually a bit jarring. I know they're trying not to make like pay to win or whatever.
Yeah.
But that ship sailed. I'm gonna be real honest. That ship sailed, dude. Like, I get it. VMG, dude, you've done your best job. You really have. This game is not pay to win. And I wouldn't consider skins pay to win at, like, any lower elo either. Well, maybe, because some people just don't know what a character is sometimes. There's been I'm going to be real honest. If I take a break from Brawlhalla for, like, not even a small piece. If I just take a break from, like, paying attention to the new skins that are released, one day I'll see, like, a Diana that's, like, actually not Diana. I'm just like, wait a minute. That's not Diana?
No, dude.
The skins...
Like... You like seriously have a point where it's like, at sometimes you just look at the skin and you're like, am I even playing Brawlhalla anymore? Like the character just isn't even in the game. Like, I don't remember. I was playing, I think it was like Pugsy I was playing with, and he just like started the game, and he just walks into a sig and he's like, what character is this? So when did they release this character? Like sometimes you just have no clue.
Yeah. It's interesting.
One of the things with crossovers that gets complained about a lot, like, I mean, this is like seriously like the main problem is the SIGs are silent. They're just not there.
Silent.
You like,
yeah.
And I don't complain about this, but I'm not the guy that just goes, no, it's fine, bro, because it actually is a problem. I'm just not a person that can just get up and say, bro, these SIGs are quiet, bro, do something about this, because I just whatever. But ever since Thor, for example, Thor became Undertaker, and you need to hear Thor's SIGs or else you're gonna get hit by them. It's
or you can't punish them in time.
Yeah,
that's a big thing too.
It gets to a point where it's literally it's as close as pay to win as you're gonna get. It's not just you're not gonna win the game. It's not pay to win, but some of them are and
it's
the people.
Very League of Legends-y.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to become League of Legends-y a bit, and League of Legends also has the same concept where they're not going to add pay-to-win skins, whatever, ever into the game. But even Riot during their professional matches, there were certain skins that were banned from competitive play because they straight up just gave a certain advantage that weren't supposed to be because of how certain things colors are or how the hitboxing is, the visuals, right? And we didn't have this issue with the early crossovers because they didn't go as crazy on them.
Yeah.
But as the game progresses, they want to make stuff flashier. I get it. It's just they want to make it look better, right? They want to evolve, they want to make it look better, and that unfortunately comes at the cost of some visual clarity. I feel like they do drop the ball a little bit on making sure sounds fit better and stuff like that. I don't want to be.
I swear they just ignore the sounds, because
I don't want to be judgmental without knowing their process, right? I don't want to say something without knowing 100% how it went behind the scenes, right? But I do feel that they could spend a little bit more time on certain aspects of crossovers, especially the sound problems, man.
Someone
you'll never react quicker to a visual effect than you would a sound.
Yeah, it gets I feel like they're ignoring the fact that sometimes you play around the sounds. That's important. You're listening for the sound cues a lot of these SIGs, because without them you will get hit by something. And
some of the faster ones especially. Yeah.
When I talk to Boomy, he likes to talk about he'll literally when he wants to play a new character. There was a point where he was thinking about playing Val, and he literally said, wait, this skin is completely broken because before the side sig would come out, it makes you literally invisible. You disappear and then it side sigs on the new skin.
Or the other one is keeps you you're sitting there and charging up.
Yeah, this one is literally you disappear and then you come out, and it's can you what's happening?
Remove 4 frames.
Yeah,
right?
it literally removes 4 frames to start up for you.
4 or 5 frames of actual visual comprehension for the other opponent, unless they play against it enough to the point where they can really keep a mental note. I've actually started doing that lately on certain skins, where I just remember to myself that certain they're this and that. And if we're going to go back to modding concept, I've actually been asking for a mod that removes crossovers at this point. Yeah. Because I just don't want. There's too many.
But
I could spend time.
That's another thing where it's okay, now you're being forced to remember that these are new, you're treating it it's a new character, literally. You're going, okay, this is the SIG, right? Because it does something else now. It's shoving off 4 frames. It's completely silent. At what point is it actually pay to win? Because it's a new SIG borderline.
Dude,
also another big problem is not only the sound. It's the visual, because I can't space certain things sometimes. Gauntlet side sig on Stevani, right?
Is way bigger.
When she finishes the side sig, it feels okay, I can be a little close, but you can't be anywhere near that shit. You get hit. It's wait, what? But if I saw it on a regular Val, I'm so used to it, I'll be able to space it better. And that's
the pinpoint. Yeah, I didn't even consider pinpoint
the spacing.
Yeah, I didn't consider pinpoint spacing because I kind of avoid that sometimes because it's just hard in Brawlhalla. It's the difference between losing a game is really risking it on pinpoint spacing, and you're one of those people that mess around with that a bit more. I'd rather just overspace a bit and instead of dealing with the risk. But in those cases, it's even worse, man, because you just can't.
Yeah.
You just can't. And dude, I swear certain SIGs feel better on certain crossover skins.
They just hit harder.
I was feeling that the other. Yeah, no, the certain crossover skin signatures just feel like the signature's better.
Dude,
it was so weird. I don't know which character. There was one character where I was dude, I hated that character because of how the SIGs worked, but the crossover skins made it feel like the SIGs were good, and I was
I know Boomy was using Cross, and before he could use Hellboy, he literally said to himself, he said, this skin is pay to lose because the sounds are louder than the original Cross, the animation is bigger than original Cross, it gives you more time to react than original Cross, so he was like, I have to use the base skin because these SIGs give my opponent more chances to do something about the SIG coming out. And I don't know, it's like, it's actually just like weird that you can actually tell those things on some of the SIGs.
Yeah, dude, Roman Reigns feels like a character. I generally feel like I've always been like Terra is just not that much of a character. Like it's meme, but Roman Reigns to me, I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, this is a character.
No.
Maybe because I just like forget that it's Teros, and I've always had this mind thing about Teros, right?
Noel's saying no, but he keys into Narwhal often enough to know Roman Reigns is a character.
Dude, I for sure feel like Roman Reigns is broken. For sure. I queue into Narwhal and I'm like, oh no.
He's playing Roman Reigns.
That skin, and I'm like, God, please. And it's always a close game. But I feel like if he picked Teros, I'd smack him. Straight up.
I feel like
so I think
the worst part is you say all that and then there are some skins that actually make you weaker, like John Cena. John Cena is actually worse Hattori.
Oh, yeah.
Does less damage. The SIGs hit softer, you can tell. I was like so hopeful for that skin. I was like, Hattori's getting a crossover, but I'm gonna have to start playing that character again. And then I actually get into a game with John Cena, and I'm like, it's kind of dry.
Yeah, like your hitbox is bigger, slower.
Dude, I was reading this funny Reddit post yesterday, I think it was. I was like, man, they ruined Zol. They made his hurtbox bigger. I'm losing so many more. It was just a gold player or something. I'm losing so many more games. I'm getting hit by stuff I never got hit before in the past. Why did they make Zol bigger? And it's just so funny to read that. I was like, that's not how hurtboxes work. But I mean, I can see where you're coming from.
It kind of makes sense. Not really, but kinda.
Yeah. But I think BMG really has something to address here. I think BMG. See, it's either that or competitively we need to be able to address it. It sucks obviously because then that means we won't be able to show off certain skins in competitive, and BMG would obviously, like, if Boomy, their favorite player, plays a certain crossover skin, it's a higher chance some like random player is gonna be like, oh, I want that skin because Boomy uses it, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's also more skins. There's just so many more skins available, man. Like it's certain skins just need to be disabled competitively, or they give an option for everyone to disable it in general. They're probably gonna do the latter, which is give an option for everyone. Because why give it to only pros? This
is the thing where this is why I don't think like something like that can happen. You are disabling something someone has already paid for, and that's like a thing where it's like you can't disable skins because people pay for the skins.
Oh, yeah, right.
You're playing an online game and they paid so you can see it. They don't pay for the skins for them to look at only. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you start disabling skins, you're getting into territory where it's like, okay, I paid for this, and now it's like it's not there anymore because everyone turns it off. You know?
Yeah, but that's true. But competitively, at least, that's not an excuse to hold, really. They can, for ranked, I could see them like not disabling it. That's fine. Maybe like add an option that once you get to diamond, or like not.
When you get to diamond, you turn your skins off.
No, not 30. But once you get like top 200 territory, I mean like elite level, because elite level, which is like top 200, top 250, whatever it is, right? That is what we call like the competitive levels. Like players there are like getting really competitive, and they'll be playing in tournaments. At that point, you could be like, we're gonna give that setting that we give them in tournaments to those players at that specific range, and that's not gonna affect like 99.999% of the player base. So their income shouldn't be hurt by that, right?
Yeah.
But either way, I really would like if BMG would address it for competitive. Yes, it's not. It doesn't feel good that like players won't be able to see certain crossover skins from their pro players or whatever, and they're really hype in general. And it's probably good publicity when you can play with Roman Reigns at like a competitive level and people see that.
For the game, it's nothing but good. Like there's no downside or anything that you can see. But if you actually like play in like a tournament and stuff, and these are all small things that you pay attention to, they're cues that are important to you. It gets to a point where it's like, okay, I can't play the game the same because of this skin, because someone paid for this, and now I can't play the same. You get what I'm saying? it actually matters.
You know what would upset me more? If BMG took the opposite direction and are like, all right, you know what? Well, let's just fix the skins. I think that's a bad approach. Because I think there's like
what is fixing a skin?
I was thinking that's what
I think
they should
no,
do,
I think color.
honestly.
I think sounds are fine. Like certain things are bad. Like yes, some things have to be fixed. Don't get me wrong, but at a certain point, you want to evolve your game, and sometimes like you can't get both. You can't have both visual clarity and like really cool stuff. There's a fine balance, and they're like they've been experimenting with like going a little bit more on the other side lately, and it gives us great results. Like it looks great, it looks amazing half the time, but it obviously it comes a bit at the cost of visual clarity. But I don't agree with the other approach of like going back in and then like trying to like make them lesser or fixing them. I think they should just keep going the direction they're going. I think the direction they're going is fine. I don't think there's some sound problems, and like they can still work harder on visual clarity, like R&D it a little bit more, right? Like actually like quality assured, make sure that you're testing it better. But I don't necessarily disagree with the direction they've been taking. I would be more upset if they actually went back and like instead of giving us an option to disable it, they'd be like, oh, let's just try and fix it. Because no matter what, there will be certain skins, no matter how hard they try, no matter how good they work on it, that I would feel I don't want to play against.
As of like recent, like in specific with the last 3 Ben 10 skins that just came out, which I love by the way because that's my favorite show. They're not that bad. Like none of them are bad, right? Like the forearms one has the anchors, which is kind of weird, but I feel like
anchors kind of weird.
But but every other thing kind of fits. Like you're not worried about the SIGs.
No.
I feel like
I think
when the ones we're talking about.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
The ones we're talking about where like the SIGs change, like Xavier Woods is a different character. I would disable that one if I could disable it.
That is my biggest hatred.
Xavier Woods is not. You cannot play against it. It's a different character. But for the most part, they're usually fine, right? Like these past 3 are fine. Lara Croft had no issues. Jake is like fine. But when they do have those issues, you really notice them. Like Thor is genuinely harder to play against when it's the Undertaker skin. So that's really to clarify, that's really what we're looking at. We're not saying all crossover skins are a problem. A lot of them are fine. Like The Rock, I don't think any has any problems. You can go through so many crossover skins and you won't run into a problem. But the ones that are there should probably be dealt with, right? Like should they deal with the Undertaker? Should they give the Undertaker the sound it needs? Because that's all there is, right? It's just a sound problem.
Yes. Yeah. No, sound problems are fine, but I think that's such a like when you give someone that leeway, what's going to happen is that they're going to take that. They're going to be like, all right, you know what? Let's take the other approach. We're going to fix the skins, but they'll release a new skin. It's going to have all the problems. Their previous skins, some of them are going to have problems.
Debatable.
They're going to try and fix a skin, then they didn't really fix it completely, and then they're going to be like, oh, that now it's fine. They don't want to use more resources to go back onto that skin again once they've tried to fix it. Like there's going to be so many things where you're always constantly looking back, reassuring, making this, making that, and then you're not 100% sure if it's actually going to be competitively playable. I think that's a bit scary, a scary way of going at it.
Honestly, though, I just don't think they should disable it in tournaments. Like, it's just too cool, dude. I can't see them ever doing that too, and I'm glad they won't. Like, hopefully they won't disable them. I do like bitch about it sometimes. Like, oh man, I don't know like this animation, and I would have spaced that perfectly if the animation was the same as the actual character, but I feel like we should just do our due diligence and figure out
learn signature kits.
Yeah, honestly,
I feel like disabling it.
I don't want to see the cool skins go away in tournaments.
Yeah, I think disabling is like.
I agree. It's terrible. Don't get me wrong. It really is terrible. But then you'd have to go the other approach with League of Legends. Talk to the competitive players. Be like, hey, which skins are problematic? We're going to do our best to try and fix these skins that you guys consider problematic. If we don't deliver on the promise, we will disable those specific skins. You're not allowed to use those specific skins. You're allowed to use the other crossover skins. Like how League of Legends does it. Certain skins in League of Legends competitively are banned.
I mean, I agree with like banning them in tournament, but I'm talking about like looking at this as a person who is not playing a tournament. If I bought a skin and I found out no one else was seeing it, it would be a problem. I'm saying like at LAN, obviously you can disable the skins at LAN easily, right?
Right. I fully agree with that viewpoint. No matter what, I think you should never disable it for 99.999% of the player base. I think there could be an argument made for like elite level. If tournaments decide to like ban it, elite level ranked should also have the same option, because you're supposed to gear people up for tournaments. That's what the point of top level ranked is. You start from being no one to becoming someone. But like Noel also says, they're really cool, and publicity wise, like you end up on like this YouTube channel, like a stream, or like a lot of people that have never seen Brawlhalla be like, oh my lord, why is Roman Reigns botting someone, right?
Yeah.
It's cool, don't get me wrong, it's really cool, but if we're gonna do that approach, we would all have like the pro players, or like someone that is considered a pro or a top level player would have to get in contact with BMG, make like some like poll on like which skins are problematic, what is problematic with that skin. BMG has to address it. If they fail to address it properly, aka the players don't feel like it's enough, you have to outright ban it.
I guess if it's like certain skins. At first I was thinking like, oh, we're gonna like disable all the crossover skins during LANs. Like I didn't want to see that. No, but if it's certain ones, I could see that.
I mean, the entire point is that they talk to you about which ones are a problem, right? Like, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to disable crossovers. It's like,
but then I'm going to disable this crossover. Like, agree on stuff, because then people are going to be like, well, I think this is, this is dumb.
Right, and that's
cheap
why
blast guns are dumb. Go ahead.
That's why you'd have two ways of dealing with it. One, you just be reasonable and be like, dude, X amount of players are saying this is no problem whatsoever. Do you have some medical issue with like not being able to see? I don't mean like
what's the problem with the skin? Like
what is the problem at that point if other people are saying it's not, right?
Okay.
Or you go the other way and it's like you have to just, until someone stops complaining about it, you have to just like disable it. But obviously you probably take the reasonable approach. Like you just do your best, see if it's reasonable enough. If majority agrees that it's reasonable enough, keep it. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's also like, it's also an approach. It's just, I'm just thinking about like how there's a million things we always ask for by BMG, and like how long it takes for certain things. And I'm just thinking like, dude, this would take forever. I'm just thinking like, oh, we want to fix this, oh, it would be this hard. We want to do this, it would be this hard. Like you'd be forced to put artists onto work, and BMG already doesn't have that many people employed.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, is it worth it for them? Will they bother with it?
Probably not.
It's
I wouldn't. Like, I'm just serious, I wouldn't. But
right, and it's like that's why it becomes a problem, which is like, until they ban modding, I'm taking it into my own hands. I'm
disabling all the crossovers.
Right, and if someone picks a certain character versus me on LAN, I'm calling them out on the spot. Oh, that skin. I'm just saying, nope, not happening. And if you keep doing it, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna go public about it or something. I'm gonna have my boys on Twitter. I'm gonna have my boys on Twitter to like say this guy doesn't want to play me fairly.
This guy was something like, Pugsley brought up too, but it wasn't about a skin. He was upset because he can't see black on Demon Island, and he was just like, I can't start the game if he doesn't change his color. And I was like, would you really not change your color just because they literally can't see? Would you just not switch your skin? I think it's just like,
I could see people doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you would have to want to win. You want to win if you do that.
Online, 10 out of 10 times. Online,
You better never let me see what you don't like, because that's what I'm going for. That's exactly what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy doesn't like crossovers? Oh, I'm taking a crossover.
This guy literally can't see on this map? Alright, that's too bad. Like, just win the tournament.
Yeah, you do that, I'm going to literally block the screen from you. What are you gonna do with that?
Oh, don't worry, dude. I had to deal with that before. Trust me, I know how to deal with it.
You got practice.
Like, I can just like imagine you go to a tournament and someone's complaining, but there are no devs there anymore. It's just people. You just go to the tournament, you start playing, and someone complains about something. It's like, oh, that's too bad. You just make them keep playing. Controller DCs, you take the game. There's no rollbacks or anything.
Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Anyways, ending the note on crossovers, man, crossovers are like, what is happening to our game?
Dude, before we end it, this is like everyone always complains. Not because like we're getting crossovers. Like obviously, it's getting to a point where we're not getting skins. We're getting crossovers, and the crossovers are the skins, right? Like we're every like couple weeks instead. Like you used to get skins weekly. Now instead of that, every couple weeks you're getting a crossover. Oh, true. You know what I'm saying? Like you rarely ever see like, oh, there's skins tomorrow. Like I'm like the last skin I can remember is that Yumiko skin, which was also really good, right? Like, looking at it, when was like the last real skin?
What does it look like? What you
the one Battle Pass happened though. Don't forget Battle Pass.
Yeah, not ignoring Battle Pass, of course, but yeah.
Yeah. I think between them working on crossovers and Battle Pass, artists' time was probably like maxed out.
Yeah.
So like normal skins probably just was just not on their plan. And
but something that's like been brought up a lot is that all the crossovers are like Cartoon Network related stuff and just like not like people want Dragon Ball Z, you know what I'm saying? Like people want to see Goku Petra finally coming into the game. Like when Petra came out, they were like, "Oh, this character was made so they could get Dragon Ball Z crossover," and that would be sick. That's like I want that too, but it's like you can't really like devalue what they've done already. Like this stuff is really good. This stuff is amazing. You know, you can't just go. It's not Dragon Ball Z, so it's not good, and that's a lot of what I'm seeing.
Only portion about crossovers that I don't like so far, like I genuinely am annoyed about, is that BMG doesn't leverage Ubisoft enough. Assassin's Creed, as an example, For Honor. Like you have these other games that Ubisoft releases that are like pretty popular and cool. The thing is, since they're under Ubisoft, that means they can make them characters.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to make them skins.
What he's talking about is literally Rayman, for example. Rayman is a character because it belongs to the people that own the game. So
they don't want to risk licensing problems with any other like company because it's not their own company, but it's literally Ubisoft, so they will never have to worry about that, right?
I'm surprised we didn't talk about that. Characters. Like you literally have Rayman in the game, his own character and everything. So when am I going to play an Assassin's Creed character? When does Edward Kenway come in the game? You know?
Please make a new sword gun character and make it Assassin's Creed. Please, just do it for one time. I know you guys don't want to reuse weapons.
Or like,
I know you don't want to reuse weapons, but please.
Lucian is literally in this game. Just give him an Assassin's Creed skin.
No, think about this. You can add a new Assassin's Creed character with 4 buddies skins.
4 skins.
One new Assassin's character.
But you'd have to. The thing is, the weapon set is already there, and obviously they're not gonna delete that because you want to play Assassin's Creed.
I know. But if you're not doing that, at least give us an actual.
I mean, delete that, bro. Screw it.
That character's not doing anything. Even when both the weapons are completely broken, you can't play the character.
Seriously, like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's, I don't know what's wrong with that. That is such a cool weapon combo concept, everything. But like, Sword Orb is probably the closest thing you will ever get to sword guns.
Yeah.
Right. So like, that's why so many people are waiting for Sword Orb, because they're like, you always want a character like that has like that extreme difference. It's kind of cool. Or like has sword plus a cool weapon. Guns is honestly a cool weapon.
Before we wrap up the crossovers, I'll ask each of you and myself, what is like the last what crossover do you want to see so bad? Like anything.
God of War.
Kratos. That actually would be sick. Who would it even be? Like,
okay.
I could see a Thatch God of War. Just like he becomes Kratos, he has the sword.
Anything from
what?
I could see it.
Bodvar, Thor, Zol. There was some guy that actually made it. There was some guy that made a Kratos Zol and it looked really good.
What about you, Noel?
It'd have to be like some Cartoon Network type shit. I was gonna name some anime, but there's no way.
I mean, it can be anime. Just make it something you like want, like anything.
Okay, like maybe like Full Metal Alchemist. Because I really like Full Metal Alchemist.
That'd be sick.
Edward.
Alright.
Yeah.
If I just had to pick something, I mean, I got Ben 10. I'm not kidding. That's like the only show I've ever watched, like over and over again. That's a show I've seen like 5 times, and it's here, so I can't even complain. But another thing that'd be cool would probably be like, I don't know, just like some actual superheroes. Like imagine Batman just beating people up in Brawlhalla or something. He has gauntlets and guns for like his.
Wouldn't he be Lucian?
Grappling hook.
Maybe. Actually, maybe I don't know. Maybe not guns. Anyways, last segment of the day. We don't have too much time, but I mean, if it goes overtime, it goes overtime.
Yeah,
I think people just want to hear people. And at the end of the day, we're gonna timestamp stuff. So if you don't want to listen to everything, you can just listen to this. I'll timestamp stuff.
All right, let's start. So it's gonna be Esports 2020, right? So far and to come. I think is the way you put it. Or do you want to explain it better?
Yeah. So we just want to talk about it real quick, like how it's like so far, who's like doing good, how it's been, and the last question will probably be BCX.
Yeah.
I think we can start with how's NA meta? Like, what do you guys thoughts on players so far? Like, what's happening?
Craziness. Like every top 8 is different. Like I haven't seen a top 8 that hasn't been different, except for maybe like 2 or 3 players.
I'll pull it up just so
even
we can,
then, because you got Pugsy that won the first tournament, got second the second one, and then he's doing as bad as me now. And I've been doing pretty bad the whole year. So.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Pugsy was weird, man. Like it's so weird to win a tournament. To like have
the way he won too, like he just outskilled everyone.
Yeah, it was just
like it wasn't like some cheesy shit.
I was like, who is this man? Sandstorm V2? Like, who are you?
It looked the same in Springs too. Like it just was like he's just beating them, and then obviously Sandstorm is Sandstorm, so he would lose, but everyone else it was just like, oh, he's beating them.
Just beating them like.
And next tournament you see him, he's losing to me. Like what's going on? It's never that bad, you know. Like holy. But yeah,
he says it's practice related. I don't doubt it. It's really demotivating for a lot of players when it comes to practice lately.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
it's really not easy.
I can definitely see it. Especially like you come in from winters, you're ready for the year. You know it's winters, then CEO. I'm going to LAN. Like winters LAN, come back. You know, so like you're like riding that. Like you just won winters. You're gonna go to this LAN. The LAN happens. You get second, and it was online, and then they tell you, oh, you're playing everything else on you at your house, and you're like, maybe I show up at the end of the year, you know. So like it makes sense.
Why pass on it?
Yeah. Looking at the standings for ones, we can talk about ones and twos, but I'll look at ones right now. For top 8s, I feel like if I had to just like say this is what is consistent. Cody, Travis, and Costlix, they're not missing. Like they really are not at any point.
Yeah.
Right, and dude, so I've been wanting to talk about it for a long time, but I don't want to get into it because it would last forever. I'm gonna keep it short. I've always seen Cody Travis as a Brawlhalla bad player, and let me explain this before I get murdered. Cody Travis refused to do certain things that were just optimal, that weren't like super hard. Like it was down at recovery and guns. Yes, it's not the easiest, but if you're playing guns and you're not doing that, and you're playing Brawlhalla at top level, I just think you're a bad player. I think you're trolling. And Cody Travis always was like this for like a year or so. And I've always seen him as like, oh yeah, he's definitely just a player that's good. That's good because it's Brawlhalla, and Brawlhalla allows certain players to do good just because it's just Brawlhalla. That's how it works. If other people aren't taking it serious enough, you'll win some games that you shouldn't. List goes on, and like if you just grind enough, you'll beat majority of people that aren't like the top elite. That's what I looked at Cody Travis as. I've always seen it that way. Until like final round 2019 or something like that.
That's really when you noticed Cody coming
and I was like, wow, this guy's movement, decision making. I was like, his brain is like incredible. Like he's actually genuinely a really, really good player. And I've never been surprised like that before, because usually when a player shows their hand, they've shown their hand. They're not going to evolve as much anymore. Because you see in the way they decide things, the way they choose options. LEZ, as an example, terrified everyone because of the way he chose his options, and that set a precedent for how he plays the game. And it really does for a lot of other players. Certain players just have that play style, and they're never gonna really change too much from it. That's why I saw Cody as that. So Cody Travis winning a LAN, getting second place, being terrifying to play against in 2v2. Like that guy seriously just bodies people in 2v2 at this point.
Yeah, you brought this up with me when we were talking before, and I'm not even going to disagree with you. I teamed with Cody, so I can like say that if you told me that while I was teaming with Cody that this is where he ends up, like top 2 every 2s tournament with Wilson. In fact, like he's top 2ing the 2s tournaments with Wilson. Like You're not gonna do that.
Player, man.
Yeah, Wilson.
Why do people sleep on Wilson?
The NSIG at the bottom of the map and then die on the other side of the map. Twos player.
Okay, it happens.
It happens. Sometimes you just kill your teammate and then kill yourself.
Wilson is what we call a case of Brawlhalla, where he just hasn't found the right one. Because unfortunately, he plays. He's
solid.
He's super solid, always super solid. But that's the problem. What ends up happening is someone's always going to let him down, or he's going to let someone down. And there still hasn't been a point where it's like equal share. Maybe with Cody Chavez it was.
Okay.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna drop this in here. Costlix has not missed top 8 yet in 2020.
Right.
He is top 8 at every single tournament, and you can fucking flame all the lances you want, but that guy is looking good. Even he's playing Axe well. He's playing Hammer.
He's practicing well, dude.
He looks good.
No, he's just playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hate.
He's even had some tough matches, and he would still pull through. Like the time, I think it was last tournament, and Paula was actually doing really good, and then he was doing really good the second match too, and then Costlix just beat him, and then after that he just destroyed him the last game.
Yeah, like you can.
Oh, okay. And no one saw that coming. They were just like, oh, whoa, Costlix is losing really hard. And all of a sudden he just adapts. It's like, yeah, he's a top player. He adapted. He did it.
He looks good.
Yeah.
I've been watching Costlix play against a lot of people, and he's just been practicing a lot. Honestly, well, not too much. I don't want to say he's been practicing a lot, but he definitely has been putting the time, and it actually shows really well. And some of his options as a Lance player, just honestly, it seems so annoying, so annoying to play against, because how well he's mastered it. That's why.
Cody also has not missed a top 8, but we just went over how he's really come up, and in the past year he's just been looking really good, even from final round, like you said. Sandstorm has missed 1 top 8. I think this was Winters where he didn't get it, or did he just no, I think Sandstorm's not missed any top 8s. He hasn't missed any. He won Springs, won CEO. He got 5th at
he got 5th
Winters.
at Winters, no?
And he got. I'm looking at it right now, and he got 8th in the last 7th in the last tournament.
3 players.
So
I think every other player has missed 1, right?
Yeah, Boomy got 9th. Ethan's missed the past 2. So it's moving, but you know who's there, and then you also have the people that are in and out. Like just to say Boomy can go from 9th to 2nd is really saying something, especially for someone like Boomy that you always see. So.
Yeah. Honestly, just because it's interesting, we're just gonna go overtime. And we'll just keep going until we're finished with it. I want to point in on 2v2 NA shortly because I have my own opinion on it. I think 2v2 NA is just so bad right now, except for 4 teams. Yeah. 3 teams, 4 teams. It's Cody Chavez Phazon, Boomy Sandstorm, and this isn't ordered. Simba Santi, and is there anyone else that
nah.
That's it, right? That's it.
They're separated from the rest, 100%.
Right, they're separated, and I mean that elevated level of they're kind of different. Even if they don't perform up to their standard, they're still different, and they will given enough time. You know what I mean? The other teams are either still mixing it up, switching a bit around, or just haven't practiced. It seems like it's hard to even say. The thing is, these top 3 people don't even haven't even been attempting to level up their gameplay that much either. I think Simba Santi has always been leveling up, but just never been able to show it. While Sandstorm and Boomy are just 2 great players, they haven't been working harder or anything. They're still doing exactly what they've been doing in the past.
I think those 2 are just at a point where it's they're just not going to be beat unless someone really puts in the work to beat them.
Right.
It's
puts in effort,
And then you have Phazon and Cody Chavez who do well. It just depends on some factors that prevent them from winning. It's stuff like Phazon not being consistently good enough because he has his points where he's really good, and then a lot of the other points against an amazing team like Boomy Sandstorm, he just doesn't pull enough of what he should. And then you have Cody Chavez who doesn't deal with Boomy and Sandstorm's offstage sometimes too well. A little bit. It's so nitpicky because it's really hard to point out great players at a certain point. It's really hard to point out more than that. That's about it. The rest haven't evolved, haven't leveled up, haven't changed.
I don't know, because you look at Lil Captain Arthur, they just got 2nd at Worlds, and it was off of a win at Montreal before that. You know that they're good, you know that these people are good, and then everyone's just I feel like they're just sleeping on it, because these are the good teams when they play. Like Low Captain and ITHRO are good when they're good, right? I can't even take away from them. You don't just get second at BCX and beat the people. You sent those people to losers beforehand. If they play, they are good. But I feel like everyone's, especially like you can say people are demotivated at once, but at twos, I feel like these people aren't even like they'll at least get on to play some ones every once in a while. But twos, it's just like you have to get your teammate on at the same time. You have to get your teammate on at the same time. You have to find two other people that are a team that want to play. Like it's just not easy to practice twos. So I can see why teams that you know are good that aren't doing well right now. Like
I still think players are lazy, and I generally believe that majority of Brawl top players will always disagree with me on this point. But I think 2v2 Fury is seriously underappreciated and not sought after. There's so many small things in 2v2 gameplay that certain teams can employ that they're not.
I mean,
and it sounds like a big meme, but the fact that players still in 2020 go off stage and don't hit the enemy up when their teammate is up is insane. How are you not hitting someone upwards with a sword in air when you're off stage on the wall? Because that is the easiest option to do off stage to hit someone with. Instead, they keep going for this down there stuff, or like not sending it up to their teammate shoots them down, and then you can ground pound. It's so, if someone's yellow and you have double sword, one person theirs, the other person down theirs or ground pounds, and then you can follow up onto that. You kill them at yellow from a vertical combo off stage.
And you're like super specific, getting super specific into it, but it's just like there's so much more where it's like I don't know. I've been a person that like literally just like prides themselves on like being able to play twos to like every single point. Like there's so much you have to do. It's just not like, oh, I'm gonna hit this person, then I'm gonna split them up, I'm gonna keep hitting this person. You have to pay attention to so much, and I feel like people are just like they just don't feel the need to push it yet, and eventually they probably will. I mean, Brawl is still young, and they're pushing ones and twos, obviously. But they're just like
think, man.
Yeah, I guess to a certain point where it's like you're not thinking. You're gonna, and Noel and Ethan are like a team that are new too, so it makes sense. Like you see a lot of new teams that just started last year or just starting this year. So it's like knowing when to keep going on what you're doing and when to turn back. And I feel like eventually they'll figure it out, but they're just not there yet. And
like, yeah, obviously too much 2v2 Fury is like I'm not saying like, dude, it's not should be
it's not as deep as
like 25%.
You're making it sound, but it's like
of your
it's
practice.
still important.
Like people aren't thinking about like, am I grouping up my teammate enough?
Yeah.
People don't think about that. They just play the game.
People
I'm like in this edge guard. What did my teammate do? Why was my teammate in the edge guard and then he gets hit by the enemy and now he's put into a bad position? Why did that happen? Where was I? People don't understand or like even think about it for a second.
To people, it's like
second.
A lot of people, like, I'm like just being straightforward, they just look at the damage at the end of it, and it's like, okay, did my teammate do enough damage? No, and that's why we lost.
Silly,
and that's not even like close to the case. It just doesn't matter. Like the damage is damage, but like, imagine if I did no damage, but the entire time, someone couldn't touch the wall because of the pressure I was applying on the side. Like it's just like,
dude,
you just have to. The pressure of your body being there in twos is just immense too. Like two people.
Right.
Is just scary.
Being able to, how am I supposed to say this? Kind of lost my train of thought. Not gonna lie. Dude, why? Oh, my brain just blacked out. I had such a train of thought about it as well. This is awkward. Someone take it away while I'm thinking.
Okay.
TV2.
I think Boomy and Sandstorm don't really have to do much, like you guys were saying. Like,
right.
You don't ever want to change what's working, so why even get on and practice? What the hell are you practicing? You know what I mean? Like, you want to keep doing the same thing, so there's no point. People are definitely not pushing shit, like, in terms of meta and stuff. Like, it's hard to get 4 people on to get good practice in. And then, like, let's say you do get 4 people on. Are you really practicing, or are you just trying to win? Because, like, I'll be honest, sometimes I'm just like, whatever, let's just win. you know, and then we're like, okay, good practice, all right, GG's, bye. And it's like 30 minutes. 30 minutes has passed, and we next time we get on is like a week later.
My view on that is, I'm trying. You should always like winning is what matters, right? Like at the end of the day, you are trying to win, but you'll notice that you need to employ these things to win. You're not winning, and it's because you're not doing this. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
dude,
like when I'm losing, I look at it and I go, okay, we right here, you see this, you could have followed up on this, and we would have won this game, right?
Yeah. But why is there no single 2v2 team that like genuinely watches the VODs of the games they lose together to like look at? One thing that's really helpful with it is it lets you look at your teammates' movement without being in the game and see how they move and why they move. And then you can actually discuss it together. And then that allows you guys to understand each other way, way, way more on why someone moves in a certain way and an edge guard or why he does what he does. To be able to see your partner without being in the middle of a game.
Same reason the people don't do it in ones. I mean, like you people aren't looking at their 1v1 matches, but you think they're gonna go look at their teammates in twos.
No, they should. In 2v2, they should more than 1v1. You know why? Because there's another person there. It's not as boring.
Obviously, no, I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that they're not doing. They're already not doing it. They're not gonna start doing it now.
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm not gonna lie to you though. The only time me and Ethan has top 3, we review VODs. Yeah. The only time we've top 3, we reviewed VODs like a week before, and then we talked about it and we started winning. Yeah, it's a big,
this bashing your head against the wall only works for certain very specific type of players. The people that genuinely will never win a tournament unless the other people straight up int it, but they'll always get like top 8, top 3, top 2 even. Yeah. Or the people that just don't want to bother. Yeah. Which is it. Like this bashing against the wall is just like
we're kind of like straying off hard from esports to just like pure twos conversation, and we can do like another whole thing about like what twos is and how you're supposed to play it and whatnot, but that's for another time. So looking at back into esports real quick before we kind of cut it off, how is EU doing?
EU side, EU. So EU is a bit interesting at this point.
I don't have any links for EU.
Acno, straight up Sandstorm of EU just bodying people. I'd actually say on a different level. I don't mean different level to Sandstorm. I'm saying different level to, in terms of like NA region, EU region. Like,
has anyone reset bracket against him?
Last tournament. I literally watched. That's the only EU tournament I watched. He literally got reset this weekend.
Yeah, he got.
Do you? Okay, so. The ever standing point of can EU be NA in a LAN? Do you think Acno is like looking at second place, or is he looking at getting a win?
He's looking at second place because experience. That's the problem. I'm not going to say he's going to win, and that's only because of experience. But does he have the potential to win? Easily. And I think even people. I think the people that are placing high, if they know Acno or if they've ever played against him, or if they've ever seen him play, probably could agree with that. The problem is experience is so important on LAN. I'm never going to underestimate that ever. There's some people that can deal with it. There's some people that can't. Experience is a different thing.
Yeah. This is kind of like a off the top question where it's like super yes, no, maybe. Let's say you have like Simple who can already get second at Worlds, right? Like he got second at B6, or just take Maltimore, whoever is getting second at the time. If you just took them from EU and left them in NA, they're already getting second. If they just stayed in NA, do you think they just start winning? Like, for example, Malcolm after 2016 BCX, he got second. Imagine if he just started playing against NA the entire time. Does he become LDZ? Does he start winning? Does Simple, instead of going back to EU, and I don't know what he's getting now, but if he just stays in NA, does he win the NA tournaments now?
Winning, I don't know. Does he do better? Yes. Winning, I don't know. But he does better because you get to play against people that have a different region meta, region playstyle, and that's powerful inherently by itself. You've learned all these things in a different region, and you know everything about this different region that the other region doesn't know too much about, even though they're beating you. There's certain aspects about EU gameplay that NA players hate playing against, that they struggle against, some of them. And then now on top of that, you allow them to like actually develop against NA players' meta and like being able to deal with certain movements and like advantage states and stuff like that better. Yeah, they level up. Do they win off of that? I don't think so. I don't think you win off of that just because you're in a region.
Okay.
I think if you win off of that, you could have won off of that by just being in your own region still.
Two things I want to look at are is EU looking more consistent? Because before, well, actually three things, but before EU was like that region where it's like who won this tournament, like, but before Blue came in, it was like a different winner every tournament, right? And Blue comes in, he starts dominating, he's winning all of them. Where is it at now? Is Acno just winning everything, and below Acno is the top 8 consistent? Because in NA, like we just said, you have like 3 people that have won a major so far, and then everything else is just like random, right?
In EU, we have like 20 players that are all at the same skill level, and they could all like interchange positions. They could all interchange, like straight up, they could all interchange positions, and that's what's been happening. Acno, however, far above everyone else, because so consistency is there. Heisen is such an interesting thing because he genuinely performs well, and he's been placing top 2, top 3. The only thing is that you never know what type of Heisen you're going to get, and that's like always been the problem with Heisen.
Sounds like Noel.
Is he still switching characters a lot?
A little bit, but
sounds like me.
Yeah, you get the top 3 BCX Noel. Sometimes you get the.
Yeah. But but the thing is, he never like does really bad anymore. He's really moved on from that like really bad thing, but he doesn't like always perform as he wants to or should I say. But Heisen definitely is what I would call on like that next level now, where he's like grabbing at it. Simple hasn't fell off or anything, but people are getting more used to that like
slow and steady playstyle,
quote unquote simple playstyle, right? People are now finally getting to the point where they're getting used to how he plays the game and how he deals with the game and whatnot. And that's why his placements aren't as like top two anymore. Okay. Besides that, you just have people that are just for Mini on the rise up, coming back strong. He's been every time he got tired of placing bad, and he was like, honestly, it probably is my practice. I probably just don't practice as much as I think I do. And then he started practicing properly, started playing the game a lot, got 4th place.
That's pretty much how I felt for Springs when I got 8th. It was like, okay, I'm just not playing enough, and I spent the entire 2 weeks just like practicing, actually looking at what I'm doing, not just getting on because someone asked me to play like 5 games. And it definitely helps if you genuinely like look at what you're doing and think about every move. I'm not even like talking about like going to look at replays. I don't really do that, but it was like I found myself actually like doing a hit in game.
You would replay it back in your head.
Yeah, and you're thinking, okay, these are all my options here, and this is what I should have done. Actually, going for follow-ups, that makes sense. Being patient, actually, it's just if you want that good practice, you'll get it, and it definitely is the difference between whether you're gonna do well or not. Okay, another thing is, and this is kind of like throwing shade, but not really. Something that comes up a lot is top 32 is apparently really volatile now, and you're seeing people like Pugsy got 33rd, so it's really volatile, and it's like, oh, anyone can get top 32 or it can be outside of it, and I just think that's not true. I just think it's a lie. I think I think it's a lie too. I think it's just like if you're like and I'll just use Double Dime because he's the most recent person I've seen said it, where he's like, okay, top 32 is very volatile, but how can you say anyone can get top 32 now when you're still getting top 32? You weren't getting top 8 before, and you're not getting below top 32 still. Like you're placing the same. So how is it harder? What made it harder? You're seeing the same people in top 32 that you were seeing last year, aren't you? Yeah, I'm saying it's like
maybe his games are closer.
I mean, even if you're, I don't know, like that sounds so specific to say that top 32 is now hard. Like
not making top 32 unless there's a seeding problem. That is the only time I ever see top 32 not happening, when you get really messed up in seed because of something, either a mismatch in seeding, poor seeding, all of those things, or you just didn't practice enough. Top 32 is what I call the practice. It's the practice gap. Like
I think what Dime was trying to say is that, like, sorry to interrupt you, Diakou. Before top 32, like winners, that could be, you can have a hard match there. Like you see a lot of those, but that doesn't mean you won't. Like the person that goes to losers is most likely going to get top 32.
Yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like, me personally, I can get 9th every single tournament, and that's not even like just like drag on me or anything, but like even when I'm not practicing, I can get 9th. I feel like just because top 32 still seems clear. For me to not get 9th, I have to like fall, and then someone has to be upset in losers, and then I have to play like I have to play Ethan for like 16th is the way to not get 9th.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like like it's just so like I don't know. and there's like a bunch of new people that like you see in top 32 now, where it's like, but are they really new and are they really like super good? Like I get personally like I get talked to a lot because I call people bad. Like I call everyone bad, obviously, but I don't give people credit. And someone that gives people a lot of credit is Ethan. Like Ethan shows a lot of respect to everyone because anyone can win, right? I don't know. Pierre, I think, is a terrible player, right? And that's not even just like be like, oh, I'm flaming Pierre here or anything. I just think he's like not good, and his statements he makes for what he's done aren't there. Like, Impala is someone I was like not giving credit where credit's due, right? But he just beat Ethan twice, and he got top 8, right? So obviously something's there, but a lot of the stuff is like,
what makes
are
you
they
think
good?
Pierre's
Like
not like a good player, like in terms of his play.
In terms of his play, I don't.
What
I mean, I'm not
play
gonna look at it as just like straight up his play. I'm saying you cannot say you are this good and that you are going to do this if you have never done this. You cannot say that I'm going to win this LAN. I'm the best player right now if you have nothing behind you to ever show that you have any capability of doing it. Is that true? Is that wrong?
I mean, it's not wrong or right. People can say whatever they want. And so, like, there's people that have always going to say something, and it doesn't happen until it happens. Like, I've said it before. I was like, I'm going to win this tournament. No one knows it. He just he says it publicly.
I mean, obviously, he's probably just
because
like
he says it publicly doesn't make it wrong. So I would say in private, I'd be like, I'm about to win this tournament. I think I'm better than these guys.
Yeah, but
sometimes I would get 13th. Sometimes I would
no,
win
but the thing
like,
is, when like if you were to say that to me now, if you told me now I'm gonna do this, I would go, okay, Noel has gone first. He's won so many lands. He's done fucking everything. Noel has done everything. So I can see a world where Noel does this, but for these players that are just like they come in, and I'm not even gonna talk about Pierre specifically anymore because it's just witch hunting at this point. But for a player that's like has nothing behind them to go, oh, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. I'm feeling it this tournament, and then it's like, okay, you're feeling it this tournament, but you were also feeling it the last tournament, and then you were also feeling it in rank the other day, but none of it actually looks good, right? And that's basically my point.
I think a good example was Wrenched. He was saying that a lot. And he would
the
get
thing
like
is,
5th or something.
Well, he really pulled it off.
No, but
and then once upon a time, first, like
it gets there. But like the thing is, I can't. I'm not gonna fall Wrench for that because I've like maybe before BCX 2018, I would say something to Wrench if he said I was gonna win. But after that, after he got second, that's what I mean. When you show that you can do that, then say whatever you want.
Sure, yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I think the people that do that without actually having ever gotten something in the past, I think it's fine because you put pressure on yourself, and then what ends up happening is you really get that drive to like try your best and continue, and and it's always better to have a goal that's unreachable, honestly, because worst case what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up somewhere lower than that, and that's still a good result. The problem that comes is, can you deal with the backlash, the pressure of not performing, people starting to rile you up? Will it affect your gameplay? If you can't handle that, keep your mouth shut. Because what ends up happening is you're going to stop playing tournaments, you're going to stop playing ranked, you're going to start making excuses whenever you like don't perform a certain way.
Especially the excuses part. The excuses part is what's going to kill it. If you make these statements and then you don't have anything to show for it, then you might just start making excuses.
Yeah, it's like,
and
you start avoiding things. You start ruining your own practice.
Yeah, it's like
if the person can't handle it though.
It's just not good.
People like Pierre can handle it. Hey man, say what you want.
Say what you want. Yeah.
Honestly.
Okay. And then the last of the 3 things that I wanted to talk about in esports was Stingray's climb to second and to not playing 2 tournaments and then 9th. So what does that look like?
8, damn.
No, it's not. It's second, not playing 2 tournaments, 9th. You give him more time?
Give him more time. I don't think
I
second
think he's still a top 8 player.
You think
I don't think
top
second is a result you get out of nowhere.
Look who you have to play to try to get in the top 8 though.
I mean, okay, you're trying to say
you
that
can give him anyone else and like.
Yeah, I mean it's Sandstorm. It's Sandstorm. You're not wrong.
Really fucking hard.
Diakou, the way you said about like anyone can get second is Simba got second at Winters last year. did Simba get second or even like a relevant top 8 after that second at Winters last year?
He's a special case though, isn't he?
I mean, is he the special case or is Winters the special tournament? Because Tiffany won Winters.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, Winters is problematic. Sure. I'm not gonna argue against that. It's the first tournament, and it always ends up weird. But I don't. The way I saw Stingray play in Winters,
he looked good.
He looked good?
He looked good.
He really did.
Good.
He really did.
Hey, that boy can play.
Yeah.
That boy can play.
Even the way he looked at Combo Breaker land, this wasn't even to like just bring up that he's bad or anything. Even he played Combo Breaker and he looked good. Against Santi, it looked close at first and then it just didn't. He started mopping the floor with him.
And Santi's no joke.
Yeah, they all look good.
Really Santi's become really good lately. I don't know what changed last year. But something changed in Santi.
Patience and
he's been playing a lot smarter.
Maybe he's always been patient. I don't know. But
he's always been patient, but I think he just leveled up.
Yeah, something just straight up.
Kind of interesting. I think at the end, yeah, I think we're about round up. The last thing is BCX. Is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? Remy, what do you think?
BCX, dude, I want it to happen so bad.
Everyone wants it.
First of all, they need to make it open entry. First of all,
there we go.
I need to let you guys know, if you try to float people into BCX like this, no, sir, no, thank you. But
players that placed high in the past are just gone.
No, you cannot. LDZ is staying home if they do that. Holy shit. But I want it to happen so bad. The truth is, I honestly think it just won't. I mean, Atlanta is open, but the thing is, it's not about whether BMG. Atlanta is open. It's whether BMG is actually going to take it and say, okay, let's act, or what's it called? DreamHack in itself is going to keep it open. Like I'm right. I know the US is fine. Like the US doesn't care, but the people that do care, the companies, the actual companies, and these people, are they going to do something? I don't know. I want it to be open so bad. I don't even know if I would go if it's open, if we're looking at it as bad, but I just want it to happen, you know?
I'll tell you this. This is not as related, but it sort of is. If Dragon Con doesn't happen, I guarantee you BCX doesn't happen. Because it's in September, and it's really close to, BCX. Like, it's close enough to where it'll make the owner of DreamHack be like, this big-ass event's not happening. Guys, I think we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
I'd
keep an eye on that.
I have my own opinion about BCX, and it was 3 months when they canceled CO Dreamland. I was like, I was already sketched about BCX at that point because I really started reading into it. Right, and then I said, but let's not think about that. Let's look and wait, because that's all we have to do. We have to wait and see. And I said this. I said June, July, we will have proper confirmation if we probably will have BCX or not. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's getting worse.
Yeah,
worse.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
Honestly,
it's getting worse. I don't think it's going to happen.
I wanted to go to a low-tier city too.
I think even if it does happen, people aren't even able to buy their flights yet. People aren't able to book their hotels yet. People aren't able to plan for it. Like, I can expect 50% of the attendees wouldn't go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of underage. They didn't
have enough time, right?
Their parents won't even let them go. Honestly,
let's not even talk about national flights. International flights is going to be hectic for so many people. I don't know how many people would even want to deal with it.
No, BCX is looking rough.
It's looking. It's in November. It's like 5 months left, but I cannot be optimistic about it whatsoever. And what's going to happen is like in the worst case, not worst case. No. What might happen is that
I can imagine like a private BCX.
There's like 3 options. Option number 1, DreamHack opens at November and it says we're gonna have attendees. It's going to be fine. But BMG says no. We don't find this justifiable. We don't find this defensible. We're not going to do it. So BMG pulls out of that.
Wait. Before I let you finish that. I will not let BMG host a $200,000 online tournament. Think about that for a second. We're talking 250. Is it 250 or just 200?
I don't even care about that. What, we're giving Brazil 100K?
Yeah, dude, that's like money on an online tournament. I don't know, man. Like, just imagine you're playing for 200K online. Nah, dude.
Well, you can't do 200K. They would split it up.
Yeah, it's split up, but you get my point. Like, you're playing a 200K tournament online, and nah.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Imagine you wake up and your internet's off BCX day. Like, you just.
Shut up. I don't even want to think. I'm not even thinking. Like, I'm not even thinking about it. No,
they do that. It's time to get. It's time to get the jump mod, the damage numbers mod, to everything going on.
All the mods, bro. All the mods.
Like you were saying, go ahead.
The three things. So the first one was BNG might not do it even if DreamHack says we're going to do the event because they don't find it defensible.
Mm-hmm.
Option number 2, they run a private tournament. I don't know how they would do that if we're not floating people. That would make kind of no sense. I don't know if they're real honest. Or maybe just competitive zone. I don't think they're gonna do that either. Third thing is I'm assuming that, like, if we can't have it, please, I'm not sure if they're listening to this, but just delay the 2021 start of the year. Start of the year. When at the earliest point we can, see if we can find a venue or something. It's probably gonna be hard. It sounds unfeasible to a certain extent, but find the earliest event that a majority of people can go to, that like would launch, that would allow us to have a world championship. Genesis, sure, something that would allow us to have a world championship, and then just run that championship so that we don't run late. Because I don't think delaying it or like removing it or like all that stuff, I don't think that's good either. I think that's not feasible. BCX is a really big event. People really look forward to it. So don't delay it like next year's tournament. You know what I mean? So the moment it seems defendable to like have a tournament, just try and find a LAN tournament that would let us do BCX in early 2021.
Yeah, I mean, safety first, obviously, of course, but it's just like hopes and dreams, I guess. Yeah, but
that's about it.
Yeah, I think we're wrapping up the topics here.
Yep.
Oh,
this is fun.
2020. 2020.
Jesus.
It's looking like it's gonna be a big year for Brawlhalla. We still have so many tournaments left, and like anyone's saying, like anyone can just win these things. So I'm really excited to see, because maybe Cody takes Lotur City. Maybe he gets the ring.
Dude, LTC, people are gonna be tilted about LTC, and it's like
that's 80K. That's 80K online already. Like, these things are looking.
I don't know.
Yeah. But
oh well, that's about it. Brawlhalla R&D podcast, Remmy and Diakou. Whatever weird thing we're trying to do. We're gonna try and do weekly, but like, we're not giving promises. We're going to try and do it weekly. We'll find topics. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, actually straight up send us like a message or something on Twitter, or like tweet it at us.
Yeah, add me on Twitter. Make sure you follow all the Twitters here. We got Noel BH. Thank you for being our guest, by the way, Noel, on episode 1. It means a lot.
Yes, sir.
You can finally
go. We didn't pay this guy anything. Like, this guy is all doing it all on his free will. So you guys can pay him by, like, giving him a few follows.
That guy's family, man.
Buying his burger at the next LAN or something. Like, I don't know, guys. Like,
just walk up to him. Walk up to him and give him food. He'll take it. It's Noel.
I actually would.
But thank you for coming on, and
we really appreciate
research and development, baby.
We're gonna keep this going as long as you guys find it entertaining, or as long as we have topics to talk about. So I think it was a successful episode 1. It was very, very scuffed. I made all these overlays like literally last night in 30 minutes, so I think they look fine. But I'll try to get real ones done. We'll look at it.
We'll probably see if we can find someone to like get some stuff going professionally. We just wanted to do a test run. It's better to start it than just continue thinking about perfectionism, I guess.
I'm sure if we kept waiting, we just wouldn't have done it. Like, so we just gotten like out over it. So we really enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. I think I got the CCs out. So if I didn't get any, because I'm running the giveaway in the background, just let me know. Other than that, I'm gonna end the YouTube recording now.